Kaylee Bean. This is my presentation on my practicum in educational administration. So I'm going to go through with the leader introductions of who I was able to observe during this course, along with their soft skills, connecting to my own observations, and then applications that I hope to make one day in the field. We'll start with introduction. So the two educational leaders I was able to observe during this course were Keith Cornell and John Reeves. I'll start with Mr. Cornell. His title for St. Michael Albertville High School is the Activities Director. This is his 7th year as the AD at STMA. Previously, he was a math teacher for 16 years in the district, along with helping to coach tennis and football. Then there's John Reeves, who is our head principal. This is his 4th year as principal at STMA. Previously, he was a social studies teacher at Monticello High School and then an assistant principal at Monticello. So, to focus on some soft skills. So Principal Reeves, the more I was able to connect with him, kind of observe his everyday daily life as principal at STMA, one thing that really stuck out to me was his time management. That goes hand in hand with organization, but the way he's able to manage his time, not only in school, but his personal life. He's a father to 4 children and a husband, and just how he was able to talk about his routine and making time for himself in the morning to work out at the school. And then, right when that's over, how he then creates time and space to meet and collaborate with the rest of the administrators. So that involves the other 3 assistant principals, plus our activities director, Mr. Cornell. And they sit down on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings at 7 a.m. and they meet and they talk about how they've handled different student situations, just so they make sure they're uniform in those decisions, whether they are disciplinary actions regarding behavior, or it's positive things that are happening in the school, just to make sure that they are all on the same page, just because, as he said, it can be, a lot with 2,200 kids in the building, and they want to make sure they're uniform. The other thing that I really picked up from Mr. Reeves was his ability to adapt. I think his adaptability is second to none. I was able to witness that during 2020 and kind of that hybrid crazy COVID year, but just Mr. Reeves has an uncanny ability to kind of roll with it, and not in a neglectful way, but he really does put students first, and he's really promoted student experience this year. So trying to adapt to different things to enhance that student experience and continue, to be supportive with teachers and with curriculum. Some soft skills with Mr. Cornell, I think first and foremost is mentoring. Mr. Cornell is a teacher and a coach at heart, and to watch him mentor and work with our young athletes, our young students involved in theater and arts, it's just magnificent, the opportunities that he offers for kids and mentoring them to try to be the best versions of themselves. I think Mr. Cornell embodies teamwork. I see that as a head coach, and how he connects, other coaches from other programs together to try to be the best that we can be, and make the best experience for our kids. I see that how he works with the administrative team, and even, we are a co-op, so how he works with the AD of Monticello High School to ensure the girls hockey players have a positive experience. He's a team first leader, and that was just awesome to watch and interact with. I would also say that Mr. Cornell's conflict resolution, this is a world where it doesn't matter if it's theater, might be choir, might be the basketball team. There are unhappy parents with their kids' playing time or with their placement in a certain activity. So Mr. Cornell, being able to witness him field those phone calls and those emails, and how he's able to resolve that conflict resolution, whether it's between a player and a coach, or a parent and a teacher, or between two coaches, whatever the case may be, even scheduling time amongst different teams and coaches, fighting for time in the dome or the gym. I think he does an excellent job, um, and he's very consistent in his conflict resolution. The third is observations. So some big observations that I was able to, watch with Mr. John Reeves are snowball dance. So National Honor Society puts on the Winter Week snowball dance, and just to be able to spend time with Mr. Reeves, before, during, and during the cleanup of that dance, all that goes into the outside guests, getting permission slips. To be able to come to the dance with an STMA student, how he interacts with students who are walking into the door to make sure that everybody is acting appropriately, dressed appropriately, that they made good decisions before they came to the dance. It was great to be able to watch that, and just watch him supervise the students, throughout the night and throughout the dance. The morning collaboration that I talked about earlier with the admin team, and just how they make sure they have time for that 3 times a week to make sure that they're all on the same page. It's a great way for them, I think, to start the day. And it benefits staff and students. And then during winter week as well, I was able to watch him with the Pep Fest supervision. There's a lot of things and cool opportunities our school offers the students during winter week, but with that comes more work, right, for the administrators. And I think they do a nice job organizing staff to be in place at the correct spots during the Pep Fest, during the teacher versus student, snap basketball game we do during our free period. It takes a lot of organization and coordination, but it was extra special to kind of get the behind the scenes look at things like Pep Fest during winter week. And then for Mr. Cornell, just, like eligibility meetings and understanding the work behind the scenes that goes into that, for him as the activities director of our school, and just the things that need to be in place to make sure that when incidents do occur during a season, he can then reference back the eligibility meeting, and say, listen, this is what was said. These were the expectations. I also was able to watch him work with our choir program and our district. There was an excellent opportunity for our choir kids to be in Nebraska, but at the same time, there was the one act state play that was happening in the cities. And Mr. Cornell was actually able to coordinate 10 of the choir students who were in Nebraska. He flew back with them early, so they were able to make and attend and perform during the state one act play that evening. So it was just pretty cool to get to hear all that went into that, for funding, and what he did for those kids was, in my opinion, above and beyond. And just the everyday meeting with student athletes, right? Positively, negatively, things that are happening that he deals with as an AD. Being an activities director is something that I'm very interested in and very passionate about, as I am passionate about advising and coaching. So getting to just see his process meeting with students was second to none. Finally, the application. So for Principal Reeves, like I said, the collaboration meetings, I love that idea. Just even thinking as a head coach with my own staff, trying to be more intentional of having organized meetings, just to be sure we are, on the same page. Varsity, JV, our strength and conditioning coach. I think that collaboration is key if you want to have a successful leadership council. And so I hope to take that with me into coaching, teaching, and then hopefully my own, administration career down the line. I think Mr. Reeves does a great job communicating with families and the community. As we know in public education, there are tons of stakeholders, and his use of technology and video messaging and the efficiency he provides with those messages, I think is something that I would like to build upon, and utilize at some point. And then finally, his relationship building, to be able to observe Mr. Reeves in the hallway and see kids giving him high fives, giving him knucks. They genuinely feel connected to their head principal. And I think that's pretty astonishing with how many students we have in the school. Excuse me. And then finally, Mr. Cornell, he truly holds all students to high standards, and he has expectations for all staff, students. He wants kids to come in as ninth graders and leave STMA High School a better place when they graduate, and he does that by holding all kids to high standards and expectations. He provides a ton of growth opportunities, whether it's mistakes that are made or trying to get kids involved into new activities and new things. He is constantly telling staff members, worst thing I can say is no, right? Try to come up with ideas for your activities, and I'll do my very best to make them happen to create opportunities for kids. He also does an awesome job creating space for kids to be in tough situations and overcome that adversity, right? Not to create too many safe spaces because life is tough, and he understands that, and understanding programs that cut, and things that happen where students are faced with adversity, but creating that space, with him, with the help of coaches and theater directors, and how for those students to overcome that adversity, and then just be better as humans moving forward, going into college and the workforce. And then finally, Mr. Cornell does a fantastic job supporting colleagues and staff. He is someone who, he really listens to hear. So when you go to him, you know that he is going to listen to everything that you have to say, and then provide, that meaningful feedback that you need to move forward from whatever that situation may be, and even just to share good news with them. Um, I can tell that staff members, during my observations, are drawn to Mr. Cornell and wanting to share those things with him. Then finally, I just want to throw in this quote. It's in Mr. Reeves' office. Leaders become great not because of their power, but because of their ability to empower others. I really like that. I feel that through this course, being able to read about various leaders, observe some, just continue to talk about leadership and what kind of leader I want to try to evolve into. It really does have to do with empowering others and how you can connect with students and staff. Thanks for listening.